Okay, video test number 2 of the Osmo Pocket with its new firmware that was released yesterday, January the 30th. And what it does is it allows us, the consumers, to use Pro Mode directly on the Osmo Pocket without having to use your cell phone. And it's supposed to also improve autofocus somewhat. And I noticed something on my first initial shoot when I was just looking at the footage. Well, I'll kind of retouch on something. I had talked about in the original shot of, let's see if that actually focuses this time. That one thing that I had noticed about the Osmo Pocket is that when you went into selfie mode, it took anywhere from 3 to 5 seconds when you spun the camera around before it actually would lock on focus onto your face. See if that's in focus. Out of the backyard. Back to the playhouse boards. But anyway, when you flip it around, it would take 3 to 5 seconds before it would lock focus onto your face. And when, here's an interesting find. Let me go ahead and flip out the camera back around. Okay, selfie mode, face track is on. So, I can't tell from the small screen whether I am in focus or not, but I'm going to go with the assumption that I am. Now, with the previous 2 firmwares, what I noticed was autofocus single gave the best focus for your face. And when I just tried it with the new firmware, and I'll show a couple clips here in just a second, but as I'm walking around talking, my face is completely out of focus. Everything behind me is in focus, but I'm not. So I just changed it from autofocus single to autofocus continuous just to see, is that going to make a difference now? Is autofocus going to be better with it continuously on? My only worry is, like with my Panasonic Lumix G7, if I have the autofocus set to AF continuous, what it does, it'll constantly hunt. And it hunts much worse in AFC than it does in autofocus single. When it's on autofocus single, it'll just kind of hunt a little bit, lock on. Depending what's going on in the background, it may hunt a little bit again, lock back on. But autofocus single on Osmo Pocket did not lock on at all. So I'm just kind of curious to see, am I in focus right now? Now, I will show you a shot of the sky, just so you can see. It is very gray skies. It's cold. It's not optimal lighting conditions. Swing it back around on me. Face track is back on. See if I'm in focus. It's really hard to tell with the small screen. But I do like the fact that they added Pro Mode straight into the camera, where it gives us a little bit more flexibility to control some more stuff without adding a phone to it. And I know that they make these little contraptions that you can add, or it helps hold your phone and hold the Osmo Pocket. But I think its weak link is going to be that little lightning connector going to an iPhone, where eventually there's going to be a problem, either with the iPhone's input on the female end of that lightning connector, or with the male output of the connector going bad, because there is a weight difference between Osmo Pocket and an iPhone. But I like the fact that they added it. So but now I'm just really curious. So I'm going to kind of go back and do a little voiceover of some of the previous footage just to see if this autofocus continuous is actually better than the autofocus single, because the autofocus single is horrible on this new firmware. So I mean, I understand lighting conditions and all, but I'm outside, so it should be adequate enough for the camera to focus in on my face. But we'll see how this turns out, and then I'll compare the two and report back to you. All right, so what we're going to do right now is I'm just going to do a little talking head reaction to the first video that I shot of the Osmo Pocket with its new firmware dated January 30th, okay? So right here, I'm just in the yard, just shooting, and then I come up to my daughter's playhouse, thinking that it got in focus, and it never did. And then it goes to the outside, which is still in focus, come back to her playhouse, still not in focus, background's in focus, and here in just a second you're going to see it swing around towards me, and there I am. So now I'm just kind of just babbling on, but if you notice that my face is not in focus at all, what you see is everything in the background is in focus with the autofocus single selected. And then right here I just freeze frame it, and I'm going to start to zoom in to the background of the house so that you can actually see. But all the bricks, the air conditioners, they're in focus. So, you know, the whole time that I'm talking, you see the background is just nice and focused, and my face is out of focus even though face track is on. So with continuous autofocus, it obviously helps. And it's just really weird because autofocus single was better before, but one thing I did notice is when it comes to flipping the camera around in selfie mode, it does lock on a little bit quicker. Now it takes about 2 seconds now for it to actually lock on the focus onto my face. That's just something to just kind of keep in mind. So it works very well. So far, I just need to test it some more in some sunny conditions where I can really test the autofocus and really get in depth with it. You know, I just have to touch on one thing. And I just had it plugged in, by the way, charging up. And the thing I want to bring up is about the charging. It charges up relatively quickly. The battery lasts a decent amount of time. There was somebody on YouTube that said that they went to CES, which I was really wanting to go to this year. Unfortunately, by the time that it was coming up, I had previous engagements and I just couldn't make it. I'm already set up. I'm going this next year to CES. But this person has said that they had taken their Osmo Pocket and shot 2 days worth of footage walking around CES, and they still had 63% battery left. Now, I am not saying that this person is lying, because I would never just call somebody straight out and say that somebody's a liar, but maybe he just shot a couple minutes here, a couple of minutes there, a couple of minutes here, and for the total of 2 days, he may have shot only 15 minutes worth of video. That's a possibility, because I know in this morning's video that I posted up regarding the Osmo Pocket out at the duck park, I shot 25 minutes worth of video on that, and I had 53% battery left. So, and that was at 4K 30 frames a second. Now granted, maybe 1080p gets you a little bit longer. I have not done an extensive battery test, but to say that you're going to shoot with the Osmo Pocket for 2 days on one charge and still have 63% battery left, I think is really a big stretch. So I got some ND filters, these Skyreet ND filters that are also polarized. So it's ND 4, 8, and 16 with polarized capability. I really wanted to do the Freewell ND filters, but they weren't available on Amazon, so I actually reached out to Freewell to say, hey, I love your products, I've used them before, I have got your ND filters for my Mavic Pro, my other DJI drones, and I'd love to be able to use it with the DJI Osmo Pocket. And they told me, no, we are not sending you filters. Don't know why. I mean, I've always been a supporter of theirs, but anyway, so that's the update for the Osmo Pocket, the latest firmware dated January 30th. If you don't know about it, update your phone. and you can have the ability to use all the pro settings on the camera, and you don't have to have your phone plugged into it. So cool little feature to have. Until the next video, I'll talk to you guys later. Bye.